G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here with yet another update in the SunFoil 5th prototype construction sequence. And I'm afraid I've got to announce that I made a bit of a savage mistake. See that? This has happened because I did the assembly and layup inverted on the table with a tablecloth. Okay? And I've then gone and marked the centres of the holes that I drilled using one of the wood screws and tapping it, and I've established where the centres of all the holes were, and then I've gone and pre-drilled the pilot holes, and then I've assembled the whole thing upside down and felt fairly confident that it was all going to be good. And this trailing edge corner is pretty good. This leading edge corner is bloody awful. This one is near perfect, and we're back to the first one I showed you, which is dog's balls. Horrible. I've just had a beer looking at it and come to the conclusion I'm going to have to take all of those screws out, and when I get them out, even though I've done the wiring, what I'm going to have to do is mark each one of those holes with coloured highlight marker or texture or something, to make a red one to make sure I know they're wrong, and then maybe, you know, an inch displaced, I'll drill all new holes all the way around, right? And after I drill new holes in the frame of the solar panel, which won't have texture markings on them, ink markings to indicate the wrongness, instead of trying to do the layup like that, okay, in order to attempt to protect the beautiful shiny paint I put on yesterday, next time I try to lay it up before marking the centres of the holes, I'm going to suspend it like that, and I'm going to push down hard on the blocks, and I'm going to make sure I've got 8-point suspension and 8 points around that frame where the fairing is going to meet up with the solar panel, because I'm just not prepared to try and fudge the look of it. It would take all day tomorrow messing around with silastic and a whole new can of paint anyway, because here's the kicker. The kicker is, while I had it on a tablecloth to try and protect the paint and managed to make this style of a mistake, I happen to notice that when I did the spray job yesterday and I turned it over, I picked it up while the paint was soft enough to retain a fingerprint impression, and there's a couple of dings in the paintwork and scratches. So the final coat really should go on after the solar panel has been screwed in place. So that means, yeah, I'm going to have to put a whole new coat of paint on the blue anyway, and I'll do that by masking the solar panel after I've reset it with all those screws moved into different holes. Right? I can't use the existing holes in the solar panel because they're too close to the holes in the wood that are in the wrong place, and each one's in the wrong place by between 0.5 millimetre and 1 millimetre. So I could spend one day trying to fudge it and it would never look right again, and it would cost just about as much in materials to make a mess of it as if I spend 2 or 3 days and get it right. And because the appearance is pretty much everything in the automotive application, I'm going to try and make it look right, as well as having it work. Isn't that funny? Ciao!